Yo, Elliot. So we got this question from Zen Fong. Zen Fong wants to know if I can break down the shoulder, the muscles of the shoulder, and explain how to train it in a balanced fashion. So the very first thing that you've got to understand is that the shoulders do not work in isolation. And what I mean by that is how the shoulder girdle sets on the rib cage and on your spine means a lot more to the function of the shoulder joint than the actual muscles in the shoulder. So you can't ignore thoracic extension, the placement of your neck and chin. You can't, and in the same regard, you can't ignore the placement of your hips, your anterior pelvic or posterior pelvic tilt. So to have healthy shoulders, you gotta have a healthy body. You know, as who you are, the human creature, extends out of the center, the core of the body, which when I say core, I mean the skull and the spine, right? And everything that branches up out of it. As it extends out of it, any imbalances that are proximal, that are closer to the core, will affect everything else out here. Everything else out here is going to be a manifestation of your core balance. So if I had to give you one exercise for healthy shoulders, the very first thing I would say to do is to become a very good deadlifter and front squatter. Those are two exercises that you cannot do in a proficient fashion if your posture is screwed up. I mean, you could do it and just put yourself into further dysfunction, further facilitate the dysfunction. But those are two exercises, if done in a corrective fashion, will balance your shoulders in such a way that you have healthy, mobile shoulders. Anyone with shoulder problems, you'll notice their posture's fucked up in one way, shape, or form, right? So the muscles of the shoulder itself, if you want to build hypertrophy in the muscle, just do a lot of pressing. I've been doing a lot of lateral raises to kind of like build up that side deal there. So that's the lateral head of the deltoid. You've got your rear delts. Really, with regard to bodybuilding, all you gotta know is that you've got the front, side, and rear. I mean, that's it. And you do shit to the front, side, and rear. The problem is that most people's posture is so fucked up because they have thoracic kyphosis, they've got anterior pelvic tilts, they've got all this postural dysfunction throughout the core of the body, and then they go and do presses in an imbalanced fashion, right? Everything they're doing is anterior. Everything that they're doing causes further flexion, and then they end up having shoulder problems, imbalanced, and ugly looking bodies. So, rant cut short, work on your deadlift, work on the health of your shoulder by improving your posture. Front squats and deadlifts are my two favorites. And then make sure that you're doing an equal amount of front type exercises for the shoulder and rear stuff for the shoulder, rear delt, and anything that causes your scapula to adduct, anything that causes the shoulder blades to come down and in, right? A lot of guys, they build up their back muscles and it ends up looking like this. They look ridiculous and they're gonna have shoulder problems. What you want is for your shoulder blades to drop, almost like if you could imagine they look like arrows, you want them to point down to your shoulder blades and build up all the muscles that are associated with that. Use that posture when you're doing rows or any other exercise. Drop the shoulder blades down and back, pick your chest up, and make sure that your hips don't tilt too much when you do that. So sort of tuck your butt under and drive your shoulders down and back. This is all postural correction and strengthening stuff. So that's it. Good luck with that, dude. Consider that every part of your body is linked to every other part. Yo, Elliot.